All right, we're live, dudes. We're live.
We are live. Hello, everyone. We are back.
Yep.
You didn't do your 3, 2, 1.
No. You've been delegated to middleman Max once again.
Dang.
How about I do the 3, 2, 1?
That's what happens when you provoke people, Max. You're triggering everybody. I don't know what we're going to do with you, but we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, welcome back, Roach.
I have it
Let's
all
hit that. Let's hit that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but each buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right. And let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode number. It's 322. The No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. We have the world famous, infamous Roach Man back with us.
Infamous? What did I do this time?
I mean, you're just infamous, you know? Your channel's almost at 10,000 subs. You need about 300 more. So right off the bat, everybody go hit that sub-like notification button on Roach's channel. Go check out some of his
ego
stuff.
is bruised.
And we're trying to get to 8,000. We need about 800 something more. Or 700 to something more, I think. No, 800 and something more. Math's off. Math isn't my good thing here, as we figured out.
We barely above 7,000.
Well, 7,100. Yeah,
that's rookie numbers.
I know. You would think we only started this, but hit that sub-like notification button for our channel as well as Roach. Welcome back, Roach. And of course, as you see, he's been designated to the middle, so we can have some control over him. Max in the middle is back. Bamboozle.
I'm like bouncing off of you guys, you know.
You are. You are.
I swear to God, if someone makes an Oreo comment, I'm going to like it.
Oh my God. All right.
That was a good one. That was a good one to start it up.
That was a good one. All right, everybody. We are back and we're going to do some RC news and talk about the ongoing Euros as we record this because they just started. But before we do that, I'd like to say thank you to all of our sponsors. First off, a big shout out to J Concepts for all their continued support. They're actually over there. Jason and the J Concepts crew are over there at the Euros. And of course, also a big shout out to High Tech RCD, Sidewinder Fuels, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Get Shiz Down Coffee, Elite RC Productions, Dollar Hobbies, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. We have the written description. We have some coupon codes and some affiliate links, and some just have links. If you can please go over there, use them as well. We greatly appreciate that. It's a big deal. A big shout out to the patrons and the YouTube members of the podcast, as well as the NNRC squad. Thank you guys for all your support. If you want to also support Roach, you can go over and actually join his Patreon. It helps him make the content that he makes. Show him some love there. And we got to support the content creators of RC because we want them around. So go over and do that. And a big shout out to our drivers, David Ronafalt, Robert Battier, Alexander Hagbark, Matty G, Pecco, Yuna, Mesa Fuller. Pecco seems to be very likable. We have been asked for him to be on the podcast some more. So he is going to the Euros. So we will probably get him on here for the Euros recap when he gets back. He was very good and people really enjoyed that. Also, We talked about YouTube channels doing well. A big shout out to the RC Racing TV. Roach has worked with them. I've worked with them many years. They're actually going to be doing the coverage of the Euros starting tomorrow, I believe, or Wednesday. I don't know when we're going to release this. We might release this tomorrow. I don't know. But they will be doing the coverage of the Euros, and they finally reached 100,000 subs and got their plaque. And I know that's something that that Matt and Nick Damon and everybody there wanted. They've been doing this for about 18 years, and they finally got that plaque. So congratulations to them. And it's all pure racing content, right? Streaming and racing. There's nothing else in there. And congratulations to them. They deserve it. They do a lot of hard work. And yeah, it's good to see. All right. Well, you know what? We got to pay some bills here. Big shout out to J Concepts. All righty then. So, welcome back, Roach. Maybe catch everybody up to what you've been up to. We haven't had you on here for quite some time. I see you've been dropping some videos like crazy.
Yes, I have. And I've just been really grinding out a lot of videos, mostly because I really want to hit 10K soon. Because when I do hit 10K, I'm going to be doing a giveaway stream, just a couple of basically products from my own sponsors, from CowRC, from Peach State Hobbies, from A-Main Hobbies, and from RC Trophy Chasers. So if you guys want to see that become a fruition, go ahead and, like Lefty said earlier, go ahead and subscribe to me. Go ahead and subscribe to Lefty as well, No Name RC Podcast, so you can get to 8K before I do. So
that's going to be a stretch.
That's going to be a little bit of a stretch. But but yeah, I've been basically just grinding out videos, trying to, without sacrificing quality of the videos as well.
I see that, man.
I've also been working closely with RC Racing TV, with another RC Racing history video. This one will be on TLR, Team Losi Racing, and Losi as a whole. This one will be mostly on the beginnings of Losi, their first car and how that's done, and the story behind the 1997 IFMAR Worlds in 10 scale at the Ranch Pit Stop.
I look forward to that. I really do like your history videos. I actually used your video of the Kyosho when I went to do my Lefty Simple Thoughts. So I watched both of your videos to kind of get some ideas from that and talk about them. And I know it's not easy researching all this stuff. And you deserve the support. And you know what? You deserve to make money at this too. So also another thing, you're available to do videos and all that stuff for people. So if you need any ads done or anything like that, hit up Roach, talk to him. Let's help support this guy. Let's help every little bit of support that he gets allows him to continue on doing what he's doing. And I think the content that you're creating is absolutely great for RC. Well, but now you're on the controversial side of things, which is great because we like it when you come over here as well.
Oh dear.
Speaking of controversy, middleman Max, man, I knew as soon as I posted that reel, it was going to trigger people, and trigger people it did. But like the whole point of the reel, like completely went over most people's heads.
No, I think it actually, I didn't think about this beforehand, but I think it absolutely, the way people reacted to it, proved every single point he was trying to make. Because the whole point of that statement was to point out the hypocrisy between what the Americans were saying in 2020, early 2024, when the world's venue was announced, that is going to be Redovan. All of them was saying, oh, it's bullshit. All of these Europeans go there. It's like their backyard. It's like, the home track of Ongaro and Canas. blah blah blah, all of this dumb shit. And when I like point out the obvious hypocrisy and point to the fact that like Thornhill, if there is any track that like most Americans are familiar with, it's gonna be like Thornhill or LCRC. You know, like those two are like the most known venues outside of like maybe Paris, because everybody goes to DNC every single year. But yeah, whatever. Like
And
just
perhaps
the
the
sort of
HRCR as well.
well, maybe nowadays, but I really haven't heard people go there before the Nats last time. I could be wrong, but yeah. And even so, I love was it Tim Lime? He was like, "Oh, get your facts straight. Mayfield has not gone to Thornhill since 2019." Then I sent him a picture from Mayfield's Facebook where he was literally practicing there before the Worlds last year. People were like, nobody went to practice there for the Worlds. Well, Mayfield did. Like Rivkin did.
I think
I think I think every single point we was trying to prove got proven in an instant. And the thing is, I'm not good. Like we are not the one who say Americans are going into the Worlds with an advantage. Like, if anything, they're going there. This is pretty equal. Like in the end, because the Europeans like high grip, Americans are more used to Thornhill style tracks, whatever. Sweet. Like I think it's still pretty balanced. But saying that just because Americans have been to Thornhill before, they are like they're gonna win absolutely. There's no point of even Europeans to come, like they said about the Americans last time out themselves, like, oh, we don't even want to go because it's so biased. Yeah, well, you know, I'm at the same time I'm disappointed because I hope better. I hope people would be like, yeah, well, it's true. Like now Americans will have the time, but
well, I think what triggered most people was you saying that Mayfield goes there all the time, which he does not. But I think the point that you was trying to make was that
yeah,
this is the same stuff that people were saying about the Europeans, right? And they
yeah,
were like,
exactly.
well, and everybody kind of proved my point. Well, he wasn't there and he doesn't go there all the time and blah, blah, blah. No, but they've gone about the same amount of times that the Euros have gone to Redovon to race, right? And
Yeah,
everybody's like, well,
exactly.
this was the funniest thing. Well, the track isn't going to be the same and the surface is going to be different. This is the first time it's been like
It was
that.
the same thing with Redovon.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
All of the same fucking things we tried to
Redovon
say
was
now.
very loose and a little bit dusty before the actual Worlds compared to the Worlds when it was basically like glue. But
Yeah,
the same thing is going to be the case with Thornhill. It's
exactly. Yeah.
not the only people I don't see complaining about this usually are most of the drivers, specifically the European drivers, with some of the American drivers as well, because they just want to race. And the people who
Yeah.
are complaining probably don't.
They don't, but I mean, I'm pretty sure like Tim Lime was very vocal about this before.
I missed Tim
Last
Lime's
World.
comment though. But
Yeah. No,
what
he
was,
sent me a DM.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did he say after
Yeah,
you
but
showed him the Mayfield was practicing there?
oh well, he said, well, some people live close. I
Well,
didn't
it's just
really
it's well,
really understand.
he makes another point of the argument, like people saying that Ongaro just hops in his fucking car and goes over to Spain on a fucking
Yes,
Thursday afternoon to
it's
practice.
it's the same. Hopping countries for them is the same thing as hopping states for us. I would not be able to go to Thornhill right. I actually got a comment one time saying, "Are you going to be at Thornhill for the Worlds?" No, it's like 10 hours away. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just I think people just don't get the sarcasm, and then it was just funny to see people, and I'm like, thank you, you prove our point. You prove our point. You prove the point.
Yeah.
But I see it's okay to use that narrative. Now, if people can say that what we did say in that reel was, okay, well, the Europeans are used to racing on that type of track. That's fine. We can agree with that. We said
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
We
Yeah.
we said that in that reel, right?
But that was
But
not the
what it is,
argument people was using last time. That was not
yeah,
what they were saying. They
that's
were
not
saying,
what they
"Oh,
were
they know
saying.
this track." Yeah, and the track never changes, and they're in this track every time. People didn't say it's gonna be high grip and the Europeans are better on high grip.
No,
They
that
didn't
was
say
not the
that,
argument. That was
but
not the
that
argument.
was the real reason. Yeah,
That
because
was the argument
if
for
you
some.
say that was the argument for some more intelligent ones, but Like the reality is that like it takes a lot for the Americans. Like for example, Mayfield, like it takes a lot for him to go out and say, "Oh well, I kind of suck on high grip." Like that sounds like it's gonna take a lot of like balls to say something like that, to show vulnerability like that. So obviously that's not what people go out and say. They say like dumb excuses, like the other things. And I think that's at the end of the day, it's like I posted a comment on the reels, like the track was really big and the track had high grip. Two things that Americans don't have. They have small tracks with low grip. That's it. That was the benefit the Europeans had at Redovan. So yeah, I think understanding that it makes more sense. And like there are races like, well, to some extent Argentina, but like Vegas, which was the surface was a fucking layup to Americans in Vegas, and
It was
European
rough.
ended up
It was
winning.
rough.
It was
Yeah,
extra rough.
Very rough. Very rough. Anyway, we beat that horse to death, and they beat it to death
Yeah.
in the comments too. I
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
what was the ratio of people that actually went and watched the video compared to people that reacted to the reel. And some people
Nobody.
just, I honestly, so I made a mistake by
It's
actually
Facebook,
titling
what
it
do you
wrong.
expect?
What was that, Roach?
Well, it's Facebook. What do you think?
Well, that's why I made the comment this morning. People listen with their keyboards and not with their ears and their brains, obviously. But it's funny. Hey, it keeps the algorithm going. The point is to get people to watch the rest of the video instead of just. And some people just reacted to the title,
comment.
right? Which
People react to
I-
the comments, which react to the comments, which react to the comments.
I know.
That's
Anyway,
basically what happened.
I'm sure this won't be the first or last reel that triggers people. That's the point. It's not the point to trigger people. It's the point for you to go see the whole video, right? We just take that part of it to do it. All right. Topics of this podcast. We have some RC news and past races. Some cool stuff, says Max. I did have a brief look at the nationals, but we also are going to talk about the EFRA 1 scale Nitro off-roads that are happening right now, July 1st to 6th in Barcelos, Portugal at the Barcelos Buggy Arena. They did a great switch up of the track. We'll get into all of that. But before we do that, a big shout out to High Tech RC. Looking for top tier performance and reliability in your RC setup? High Tech RCD has you covered with industry leading charges and service for both surface and air applications. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, High Tech advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high torque servos to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust High Tech to keep you in control. High Tech, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit hightechrcd.com today. Let them know that the No Name RC podcast sent you. All right, so start off a little silly season news. Right, just in time for the Nitro Euros, and we do forgive Roach is a little pixelated. He's got janky internet right now. He's gonna make me edit up all of this all over again. Thank you, Roach. I appreciate.
I
appreciate all the-
apologize.
I appreciate all the extra work you're gonna give me doing this. Bring it up, Max.
Love you too,
Mikhail
Lefty.
Orlowski signs to FX
I'll
Engines.
bring it up.
Oh, I mean, you can.
I'm
got
all
it.
behind.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
This is
So go ahead,
this is a
Max.
professional podcast.
Take us off on this. As-
Okay. So we all know Keenan at this point, okay? Dude, as soon as he saw this news, Keenan was, twisting up a new tinfoil hat at home.
Mhm.
It was like, it's gonna be X-Ray, surely. It's like, oh, Orlowski is joining X-Ray, Schumacher is gonna crumble.
I did not say
what's
Schumacher was
gonna-
going
what-
to crumble.
Well, I mean that would have been the next step, I'm just going by the stages of grief. Well, we spoke with Pekka. Was it on the last podcast or after the last? It was after the last podcast. It was off air, and obviously Pekka, Schumacher driver, who knows Orlowski well, they're friends. So he knows a little bit of the inside, and basically, the story here is that he could have chosen between Nova and FX. And he chose FX because other brands wouldn't offer him a deal. And that's the story pretty much, To me, it's weird. Like, why does FX do this? But then again, like, why not? If they have a chance to get someone to run their engines, why not? And to further establish this point, the other Schumacher 10 scale star, Daniel Kobevic, also signed with FX last week. So yeah, basically it's just that FX is giving out deals to some of these guys because they want to get their engine out there. By the way, do you think Fenn would join FX if X-Ray forced him to? Now that we're here.
So this is a discussion.
No.
Sorry. This is a discussion I've had with a friend of mine who insists this is going to happen. He insists that it's going to happen.
It happened with Ronafalk.
It did
He
happen.
broke up with Adrian Bertin, who he had been with. Adrian Bertin took Ronafalk under his wing in 2008 at the B Euros in, I think it was Switzerland. Since then, every single move Bertin and Ronafalk made was together. It was a combined move, you know? So Ronafalk joins X-Ray. 6 months later, he's out from Corsitec, and he joins FX.
Well,
like Fend, sure, he's got a good thing going on. RC America pays a part of his salary.
Isn't
that
the
thing,
difference
but-
between them is the fact that Fend is part of RC America and Ronafalk was part of X-Ray, not RC America?
Well, yeah, exactly. That, in my opinion, that is the only thing which would make it so that Fend doesn't join FX. Because clearly X-Ray are making a push for FX because they're giving out deals to drivers who don't even drive X-Ray, so they're trying to make it a thing, a staple on its own, the engines. And now that Coelho is not running them, Ronafalk is pretty much the only guy who is running them because they hired Fend and Fend is not running them, so they have to make something. So it is interesting. It's an interesting dynamic because imagine your top Fend is easily the best 8-scale driver X-Ray has now. I don't think there's even a debate. Wouldn't you want that guy to run your engines if you are Uri Hoodie? You would. And I think he would even pay quite a bit. But for Fend, that's a tough deal because, everybody is like, oh, he runs 10-minute pit stops and, he seems to be doing pretty well otherwise with his engines. So
it's a big risk to take.
Believe. For sure, yeah. Yeah, so that was a little bit of a tangent here when talking about FX. But I thought it's a worthwhile thing to keep up because every single driver who has run X-Ray has ended up running FX. So, yeah.
I'm going to no comment this one.
You're going to no comment this
You
one?
know something we know?
I know X-Ray has been after Orlowski for many years.
Oh, you're still going on Orlowski?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a world where he goes to X-Ray.
I think right now is the perfect world where he goes to X-Ray. Because they need somebody that's going to go out there, race touring car, 12 scale, and 10 scale all at the same time. And
They're
trying with Ronafalk. They are. But I don't know if Ronafalk has the abilities. Maybe he's a little older now to do it where he's running so many classes because, Ronafalk is a guy who has to concentrate on one class at a time. And his first year of doing this has not been the best, right? So maybe the focus is let him focus on 8 scale, which is his top tier, which is his joy and love, and let the guy who's already winning at these races and doing well at these races do 10 scale, because the 10 scale and the touring car market is way bigger for X-Ray than it is the 8 scale market, right? And now that they don't have Coelho, who was doing all of that for them, they still have the workhorse, which is Hagberg. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think Pecco's just trying to throw me off the scent, But being as I am not participating in silly season this year, it doesn't matter.
Oh, come on. Roach,
you just did.
I mean, I
You
gave
just
that.
did.
I gave that tidbit up for everybody. I'm not, I'm just
At
if
at
I
this
was
point,
involved in silly season this year.
You are absolutely already involved. You just involved yourself.
No. I can
dude's been relapsing like every month now.
I can
from
touch it a
Every
little bit.
single-
smoking.
I
He
can
can
have a
quit
little bit of
whenever he wants.
and full silly season,
He can. Don't worry, Lefty can quit silly season whenever he wants. He just doesn't want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah, watch. I'm not
This
even
is
gonna
like a
touch
drug
silly
to you,
season this year.
dude.
It is a drug.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Silly season is a hell of
I-
a drug.
No, seriously, I really think that where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, is it gonna happen next year? I don't know.
disagree.
I don't know.
I
Will
think
it ever
what
happen?
they're gonna do. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to develop Zalewski and Adam Issei to become good in 10 scale. Zalewski, that is, and Issei in touring car. Issei is already good in stock. He's decent in mod. He could become like a good driver, and then Runfolk is gonna be kind of like their average Joe. Like he's gonna be like a Hagberg for them, where he goes to the worlds and finishes top 5 like every time, pretty much. But he's not the star. I don't think that's the right strategy, but I think that's what they're gonna do.
Well, you know what? X-Ray is kicking butt in 10 scale and 8 scale. Well, I mean, they kicked butt in 8 scale at the Nationals here recently in the USA. So.
Yeah, because RC America has a very different strategy, which I like much more. I think that's the whole shtick.
All right, well, we beat that horse to death. No more silly season. We're all about disc brakes. Go ahead, Max. What is got your little brain going about this? Your big brain.
Okay, so this is the picture I'm really interested in. So we all know RC Project released these vented disc brakes like 2021, 2022, somewhere around there. And everybody went nuts, Like everybody wanted those. Everybody was running those. I don't know if it was just Stefano doing a really, really good promotion for them, or if it was that the pro guys tried them and was actually like really impressed. I don't know, because I don't know. I wasn't at the races when people tried them, and I have to be honest. In Finland, the grip is so low, you're not gonna really care about brakes that much. At least I don't, and I don't race that much to care for brakes. But it was a big thing. But this is an interesting development for that, because the RC Project, it was basically a solid brake disc with vents going through it. But this brake disc from S-Works is it has vents both through the disc and within the disc. I don't know if this is good in the end, because you're going to probably have a little bit of less material on that brake disc. But I mean, there's definitely much more circulation. And it's an interesting thing, because I don't know how they've done it. Like done this, obviously, I expect them to have machined this. But it's interesting, because I feel this is sort of the next step in terms of cooling. This is what they do in F1. They have like a fucking million of these little holes in those carbon fiber brake discs from the like through the disc, like slicing the disc. Basically, there's holes. So the air can escape outward instead of just through the disc. And yeah, it's a very first one of these I've seen in RC. I don't know if it's specifically for the GT stuff, or if someone like Canas is using it at Barcelos, which, to be honest, tracks like Barcelos, you need brakes that cool down, because you're going to be on the brakes a lot. There's a lot of hip jumps, a lot of 180s, hard brakings, landings you have to land on brake. Their brakes are going to be like really, really hot in the main. So yeah, something like this I think is interesting. And on the Mayako, I know people who drive a Mayako, or at least those who are active on the Discord, they know that there's been a whole thing about brakes and brake materials and so on. So, and I've had my fair share in it. I even did some experimental stuff with the Ronnefolk man who ended up leaving after the experimental stuff. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but yeah,
Max, how could you?
yeah, I don't know. I made him a brake caliper system, which worked, but JQ didn't like it, so they
That's why
debated it.
list.
Yeah, I don't know if he didn't let David run it because I made it, or because like he didn't want David to run other parts on his car.
Who knows? Who knows with JQ? All right. Interesting stuff. Brake discs, FX engines, and a little touch of silly season that I don't worry about. Anything else here? Nope. We don't really have nothing else to go on about her. Oh, Hootie releases
the-
tires for 10 scale
yeah.
euros. Did we get any pictures of this? Oh,
I
and
do.
ultimate clutch. All right. So Roach, you look for the pictures. Let's talk about the ultimate clutch. Real quick.
Clutch. I have
Okay, you have it up.
the Hootie stuff, but we can talk about the.
I'll bring up the
talk
clutch
about
then.
the clutch because I wanna save the tires for last. The clutch is kind of a brief one. I don't want to stay too long on it. Basically, it's an adjustable 4-shoe clutch, similar to what Reds had. I don't know if the Reds one is based on a Fioroni clutch or something. I have no idea. Okay, it's a 4-shoe clutch, very like TLR has a clutch like this, but it assembles a bit differently. AE has a clutch like this, but it assembles again a bit differently. This looks to me most like the Reds clutch, which I think is like a Fioroni clutch. Whatever, 4-shoe clutch, they're pretty similar. But the interesting part about this is the adjustability. So, if you guys remember back in the day, well, not that far long ago, it was like 2019, 2018, something like that. AE released an adjustable 4-shoe clutch, and it was adjusted by set screw. So you had a set screw that moved sort of the body where the springs was attached. So the body that the pins were attached to and the shoes had a little bit of a flange. You screwed the set screw, and the body moved and tightened the springs or loosened the springs. This works on same principle, but it doesn't have the set screw. Instead, it has these sort of what you call it, like a slots. So you move the clutch and it locks into a slot, and so it's there, sort of a solid piece. And the AE clutch, it was kind of a flop in the end because I don't think anyone really ran it. And everyone who had ran it said that it changes during a race, so people stop running it. This one though, at least Robert had been like really vocal about it on his YouTube. I don't know if it's just for promotionals or if he's actually running it as well. But the fact that it like locks in is maybe more like suitable for not adjusting mid race, basically. All I have to say really is, why do you need an adjustable clutch? Sure, if you're the type of guy who's really particular about their clutch, but is really a lazy mechanic, you have a much easier time making like small adjustments to your clutch. And then you also have a few options on how you want to achieve the desired spring tension. Like, do you want a thicker spring with a longer leverage, or a thinner spring with shorter leverage, and so on, whatever. So in that sense, it's something interesting, but it remains to be seen. I want to hear some feedback about this because I feel clutch yet again is one of the sort of unvisited areas of RC a bit. People have like they test clutches and they find their favorite and then they just run that. But like tuning of the clutch, kind of what they do in on road, I feel like that's a bit missing, maybe.
Alrighty. You had something to say, Rochi?
Not really, because I'm not much of a Nitro guy. Not yet, at least, because I'm allergic. But
Literally.
Honestly, I'd say that having an adjustable clutch that you can just, like you said, adjust while it's still on the car is a pretty good idea. But whether or not it actually catches on, unsure. Can't tell you.
Adjustable clutches ain't new. We go back to Buku. They had good clutches as well. They kind of died out. They were probably the most adjustable clutches you had back in the day. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the Reds one is similar to you have a plate which you move. So you can have it high setting, low setting. And
Yeah.
then
But
that's the last time I remember using one. It was like that. It was a pain in the ass to change that too.
Yeah, but the difference between this one and that Reds one is that the Reds one you had to take it out of the car, and then you would lift the plate, switch its position, and push it back in. But this ultimate one basically is that you hold the flywheel in place. You put like a screwdriver
lock
in,
it into
and
it.
then you lock it into a slot, and I think you have 3 slots even, so you have like
There are
3
three, yes.
adjustments.
Interesting stuff. All right, let's get on because that was supposed to be short, but it took 10 minutes. Tires.
Yeah.
Hoodie's coming up with
What
some
they got for
tires.
tires? Or your
What was
tires,
that?
I'm sorry.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Hoodie is throwing the cube into the tire game now, it looks like.
Yeah, well,
This is a
I don't know. I don't know how I'd start this, but you remember that one time they had touring car Euros at
yes.
Hoodie Arena, and
Yes.
they used Hoodie Spec tires there as well.
Is this just that? Pretty much.
No. It's not touring car tires, but it was quite a fiasco back then because it was a thing that the tires were too weak basically because they have a huge like very long back straight, and the tires couldn't last the high speeds. So Volker, for example, he qualified second, but then I think the temperature went up for the mains or something, and he ended up breaking tires in both A1 and A2. And because it's in the back straight, you're running like, what is it, like 80 miles an hour down the back straight, probably more than that. For the Americans, you're gonna that car is like garbage after that, you know. So he basically A1 he broke his first car, A2 he broke his second car, so he couldn't even run A3 because he would have had to rebuild or like build a whole new car for that. So yeah, that was that then. Obviously, at 10 scale Euros, nothing like that is going to happen because it's 10 scale. You're not gonna break tires, but it's an interesting story from the last time I remember Hoodie having their own spec tires. But this is a good way to make some money if you're holding a European Championship. Just have your own spec tire.
Just keep it
Instead
in
of
house.
like
I can
yeah,
already
keep it in
see.
house.
I can already see people saying like, "Oh, they're running Hoodie tires. Of course, X-Ray is going to win." I can
Well, that
already
was
see the consequences.
that was the argument at this touring car world, and everybody thought that X-Ray cheated. And actually, it's probably one of the more popular podcasts. It's called "Did X-Ray Cheat at the Euros or World Champion?" One of the two. I can't remember what it was. Maybe I'm getting confused between that
Was
and
it
the
in
World Champion.
2019? You mean the
Yeah, 'cause
2019 Worlds?
it might have been. Or it
No,
might
no,
have
no.
remember-
Kenan's talking about the touring car world,
been.
but
Okay.
that's a different thing. I think that's a different thing. The Euros was because at the Worlds, I don't know what tires they ran, but at the Euros they ran the Hoodie tires. And then there was a thing. I mean, some people complained because obviously Hoodie tires aren't that popular for obvious reasons because they're not like a specific tire manufacturer. Hagberg and Coelho had been testing the tires and they knew that they was exploding. So they had to tune down power to like they had to really smoothen it so you wouldn't spin the tire to wear it down. So they could make it for the full 5 minutes without the tires blasting. Uh, so some people complained that like X-Ray knew or Hoodie knew that he was going to explode the tires, and they still went with it because they knew that their guys were the only ones who knew about it. So it was a whole fiasco that year.
So what was the Worlds about? Was that
The
what the
Worlds
Worlds
was
were about?
the Worlds was
Iconic.
the for 10 scale was just, hey, it's at the Huddy Arena.
No, we're talking about
X-rays.
touring car though.
There was a
I think we're
thing
talking about the
touring
Euros.
car.
I think we're talking about the same thing. I have to go look. I know it was a popular
No,
podcast.
the Worlds was a different thing,
Okay.
but I don't know what it was about. I can't remember.
So I just got some breaking news while we was doing this. And remember we talked about I ranted about once again Europeans not having a lot of races. That's why we're excited about the Euros. So I'm hearing, it's not 100% sure, but we're hearing that Padova has actually closed on
Padova?
the
Oh,
cover
wow.
track. Yeah. And they're going to do something else there. I don't know how true that is, but someone just messaged me. They were listening to the last week's podcast and messaged me about it. But it's not 100% sure.
Wow.
That's the rumor. So it's sad. All right. Well, let's get cracking. We've been spent too much time on tires, clutches, and all this type of stuff. But anyway, Side Piece Racing is your North America's exclusive distributor for top tier brands like Automatics, Roche, Wild Turbofan, Montec Racing, Corsa Phoenix Racing, and Will Speed. Whether you're seeking precision engine car kits, high performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, we have you covered. Enjoy fast shipping and exceptional customer service, ensuring you get the best gear when you need it. Visit sidepieceRacing.com today and race ahead of the competition. I see they just had that new second batch of the new Automatics card. I guess that's out that everybody's excited about. I saw that I shared it the other day. So them things must be flying off the shelves pretty fast. And also step up your racing with our Swedish friends over there, Latera Racing, one of Sweden's premier hobby shops and track dedicated to racers. I'm wondering if they're at the Euros. Feature top brands like X-Ray, Hobbywing, Zoo Racing, and Team Coyote. They provide everything you need from precision chassis to high-performance electronics. Whether you're at the track or upgrading your setup, Latera Racing caters to racers who demand the best. Visit latera.se or stop by their shop and track for the ultimate RC experience. Latera Racing, built for winners. All right, so speaking of, we're going to keep it in Scandinavia. The NXC Grand Prix, it's a race that is held in Denmark. I think it's their biggest race that they have. It's on an oil track. It's been going on for quite some time. Ronafok used to go there, but he doesn't go anymore. You would think he would have went. He got a little warm-up in for, Barcelos. So, but it was happening June 13th to 15th at the Hello Rod RC Racing track in Hilred.
Oh,
I got it.
Pretty good.
I got it. Been watching Vikings lately. Hilred, Denmark. At E-Buggy, we had Kaerup, Hampusberg, and Pelle Komse, who's like the fastest guy in Denmark. And in Nitro, it was Kaerup, Komse, and Hampusberg. I think Hampus is kind of working now, and like I think he's not trying to be a professional RC guy. He's just doing it on his side. His brother now is pretty fast. I'm surprised he's not there.
Yeah.
And of course, Kaerup.
He was. Yeah, I think Hampus. Yeah, he's an electrician, if I'm not wrong. So he's doing that. He graduated for a vocational school, I think, a year or two ago. And he's kind of working full time now, and yeah, takes a lot of his time. But he's still fast.
He is.
I
He's always
think
good at this race.
like yeah, and he's like in Sweden, it's like him and Ronafalk are always battling. So definitely fast. And don't worry, Keenan, his brother Oscar, he was just 6 seconds behind Hampus in fourth.
I like
So,
Oscar.
Yeah, so these guys definitely race still, and saw them last at the Nordics. They was super fast, both of them there. So
Okay. It is a good race. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any coverage. And it looks like a great facility, but it's hard to talk about a race when you can't actually see it. So hopefully they'll get to work to the point where they get some coverage, and then they could get some big names to come to this race.
they had, I think they had Berton, they had Ronefalk, they had the Kilic brothers.
They've had
that
previous
one,
people there. Yes.
Yeah, they've had a lot of people in the past years, but this year for some reason a bit quieter. Maybe it's because it's quite close to the Euros. I don't know really what it would be. But I do want to say one point. Kaerup, Because I remember when he kind of started running 8 scale, because I think he ran the 8 scale worlds in 2022 and the Euros in 2023 and 2024, obviously. And in 2024, he ran the Danish nationals like full time. He ran all of the rounds of the Danish nationals. And then he ended up making the main at the Worlds in 2024. I think now, like, he's been winning pretty much every race in Denmark, in 8 scale specifically. I think he's been taking 8 scale a lot more seriously. I don't know if it happened, like if it was a conscious effort to start racing the Danish nationals so he would get good internationally, and then after that the world's result came in, or if he kind of did it on the side and then the world's result was so good that now he's kind of like putting a lot more effort into it. Either which way, I think he is gonna be the top driver in both 8 scale and 10 scale coming out of the, Nordic countries. Because what was he, ninth at the Worlds? And all of his 10 scale success, he's a very, you know, uh, successful young man already. And I think he has like the kind of professional racer attitude. You know what you get from those F1 drivers, like young F1 drivers, that you could see that these guys are professionals and they know what they're doing and they have goals and so on. And when they go on track, they absolutely like they go on another level, And I think Kaerup is one of those guys, which is really impressive to see. Obviously, his dad, I think, is the European champion as well, so he has some good backing too. But a shout
I
out to Marcus once again.
I will not argue with any of those points. I talked about Kaerup on the
Yeah.
last podcast. Do
Yeah.
you follow Kaerup at all, Rochi?
Not really. It's mainly off road for me. But going back,
He is
to-
off road though. That's what we're talking about.
oh, Kaerup. Oh,
Two-time European champion. Sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, I follow him a little bit, but mainly it's American stuff for me.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But also
I wa-
going back to the Padova situation, I think the reason why that came up is because the track posted Pista Chiusa, which roughly translates to closed track. And people in the comments section are asking, is this permanent? Is this actually a thing? But they only posted in all caps Pista Chiusa. And that's it.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. As we once said. We shall see.
You and your
shut up.
freaking tinfoil hat, Skinner.
I mean, it could just be best case scenario is just saying, hey, people don't get on the track right now, it's closed. But worst case scenario, they're closing the track.
I heard that it's cut and closed. It's kind of been in a dilapidated state to an extent. Like the owner hasn't really put much work into it.
Yeah.
Probably because it's not making any money, right? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's not making any money and just costing money.
But that has been the case for a while now that the owner's not putting interest. Because I remember, what was it? Probably like 2018 or something. One quite successful Italian racer's father told us that they are not visiting Padova because of the track's like always in a shitty condition, and when they told them about it, like the pipes are not fitted and whatnot, they just like told them off. So they was like, "Fuck you, we're not coming to Padova ever again." And since then, I don't think that person really went to Padova ever again. Then, so yeah, there's been that kind of sentiment for a while. In Italy, from what I've heard. But there's obviously a different crowd who absolutely loves Padova and goes there to every race and practices there regular.
I mean, for us VRC guys,
Yeah.
it's like the dream, right? To see that track, that step up, that epic step up they have. But it's a sad thing, but I get it. Let's move on to the Italian race, which took place on the same weekend as the Nationals. This is Mal from Mal Graphics race. It's held at Ospi team track in Gusago, Italy. I've been there. It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful track. That's where I first saw my first Italian toilet and used one, by the way.
The one with the hole in the floor.
Mm-hmm. When
Yeah.
I copped the squat, it just went right out, just like that. That's what the toilets. That's what the toilets are like in some places in Italy, man. Even in some restaurants are like that. This
Yeah,
happened. So this is Ongaro has been hurt quite a lot. This is really like Boots' home track because the Reds factory is very close to it. But I don't even see Boots. Did he go? Boots didn't even go. Or he didn't make the final. He didn't go. It looks like. Anyway, let's take a lap around this.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that this is like right. He lives in this area, right? Yeah, I guess he just didn't go. Interesting.
Weird. There we have Zancatines. Oh man, I always recognize him. Barufalo and Ongaro. You know what? I don't see any Polito here either.
Let me see if they're in the.
He's there. Polito had a DNF in the final.
But he's not hurt. Is this the final? I don't know what this is.
Yeah,
Maybe
Polito's in there.
Yeah.
He just he DNF'd. He got 24
Yeah,
laps.
but I think the list is just showing up to 10. So
okay,
that's why,
there we go.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen this track before. They did make some changes, though I can see now. And this is where we had the infamous Polito Boots clash of maybe
twice,
2 years ago.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they clashed twice.
×2.
Yeah.
Wow, this is where. Oh yeah, they changed it because that jump, those two jumps to the very far right were not that big before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually put down some forest and put in what you call those fenders, like the bleachers. Isn't that what you call it on the right side?
Yeah,
they're holding
covered there. Yeah, that wasn't there either. Last time I was there.
Yeah, they are holding the European B Championships this year. I think this track is going for the Euro A.
Bleachers right there.
I think they're trying
Oh, there they
to
are.
apply for Euro A in the future. So that's why they're trying to make a big push. It's a great place. It's a great venue. It holds some really big, successful races. So, in that sense, it's great.
Oh, I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, talking about the race now. E-Buggy, Ongaro won, Barufalo second, and Polito third. But in Nitro, this was actually the interesting one. So Barufalo was actually in the lead of this race in the beginning part of it. So Ongaro ended up winning it, obviously, because he wins every race in Italy. But Barufalo, he was actually in the lead of this race, and he had a flame out. So Barufalo was leading, to my understanding, quite comfortably, and he had a flame out. Over a 1 minute lap here, and he ended up just 11 seconds behind Ongaro.
So what you're saying is if he didn't flame out, he would have won.
Yes,
by
which is
by a long way.
Pretty comfortably, yes. So that's very interesting to me because usually it's like Ongaro wins the Italian nationals every time, because Barufalo blows out or something happens, which happened here as well. But here it was like he was getting smoked by Barufalo.
It's also important to note that both Bertone and Barufalo had faster laps than Ongaro as well.
Yeah, that is rare too. I mean, Barufalo not so much, but Bertone for sure. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what is it with Barufalo, but sometimes he's the only one who can challenge Ongaro, period. But he is like so inconsistent, like incredibly inconsistent. Whereas Bertone is more consistent, Polito is more consistent, but they can really never match his pace. So yeah, it's a tough one for the other Italians, but I really hope that Barufalo would pick up, because when he left X-Ray, everything kind of went to shit for him.
He did win a silver state.
He did win a silver state, but he didn't have any good results in Europe. Then
he went to Tech.
When he went to WIRC in what was it now? I think it was 2023. Yeah, 2023. He went to WIRC at the end of 2023.
Okay.
And then he stayed at WIRC, and
Wait, let me
then
double.
left at the end of last year and went to Kyosho.
That makes he did a year at WIRC pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. He did a
That
year
was
at
not good for him.
he did 2 years at Techno, a year at WIRC, and then a year and a half at WIRC, and then went to Kyosho. He has been struggling with the Kyosho as well, and to me, it looks like he's kind of lacks motivation to some degree. But these recent results in Italy has been really promising. So I think there's a chance that he will do well now going forwards, but we'll see.
I'm a little bit more interested in the Berton as well because, like you said, usually he can't match the pace, but that one lap time and the fact that he was pretty much on the same medium time or average time as Ongaro and Barufalo. I remember you saying before in the last podcast or one of the other podcasts that Ongaro was starting to get complacent a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
You said
I
that.
think I still think that's true to some extent. Like the thing about Ongaro is that when you are a level of a driver like him, you can show a little bit of weakness and still win. And I think that's something that, like, especially in the modern age of internet, people kind of don't realize that when I give Ongaro shit or Mayfield shit for that matter, it's not like, oh, they're done now. It's like, hey, wow, this incredible driver who rarely makes any mistakes or
Just
has
made a mistake.
anything wrong with them has a little bit of inkling of something wrong with them that I just spotted. Because the thing
Oh,
about
look,
Canas,
they're human.
yeah, exactly. Because the thing about like Canas and Fend, you could say like, oh, they end up losing more often than they should when you look at their pure pace. But when you look at Ongaro and Mayfield, they win way more than they should, you know? And when you see like, oh, hey, they have this like thing that's not going for them. There's something is like changing even a little bit. Like it's worthwhile saying.
You start to hyper focus on it.
True, that's true too. Yeah, because the thing is that
Because I was looking at what happened with the Philippine Masters as well, like especially with the e-buggy final A1 and the entirety of the final for Nitro. Those are things that usually don't happen.
yeah, that's
And
right. That's right.
that's why I bring up Kato earlier. I want to see what he does at the Worlds if he's going, which I'm pretty sure he is. You said that already.
Yeah, yeah, because the thing is that Ongaro should never in a million years lose to Koki Kato, you know? He just shouldn't, you know? Because like he is that level of a driver, but having that, I think it's because he got complacent. I think it's because of that. But then at the E-Buggy Euros, he proved that he can still win, you know? He could fight for that win.
Yep.
And I think this really well ties down into, because we're going now, this week is the Euros week. We'll see how that turns out now that this is like the biggest challenge for all these guys. This is like the race for the Europeans.
That he has not won yet. He has not got a Nitro Buggy European
That is true
Championship.
too. Yeah.
And Canas is there for his
Canas, yeah.
For start in a row.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to the other Euros that happened. There's two. Max does not want to talk about the 10 scale sedan Euros at all. But we're going to talk about the GT Euros, and we're not going to stay too long on it. But Borak did go run this. I think he made the main and finished 11th or something like that. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Borak
he made the main,
running
but had a
GT.
Yeah, I cannot. It's a weird idea.
Considering how he drives, no, I can't.
Dude, this is
he likes to kill his cars.
Yeah. I think he did all right considering he's definitely not an on-road driver. But he ended up having a DNF in a final. He wasn't really ever like in a fight for the win. But he was there in the main. And I think it shows that he can do something else as well. And I think it was mostly just to get some more experience in other classes and then being part of the Nova team. He joined them this year and showing his face around the on-road tracks as well, because that's big. That's a big class for Nova. Yeah, and this class, one of my favorite classes as well. GT, like, if I had more time in a day or more days in a week, I would definitely run this class as well. I've been thinking of making like a Mayako GT, but it never really happened. But I absolutely love having like 8-scale 4-wheel drive, like a GT car, like a real race car, for that matter. And yeah, I love that. I love that you had that ad there.
You are muted.
I'm sorry, I don't have YouTube Premium. It's kind of expensive.
You don't want to see my ads.
Hey, RC Racing
don't
TV
wanna
at
see
least
the
got
ads
some
I
money for
get.
that. Yeah.
I like this class. I have a GT over there that needs to go get put together and go run Simugen. But let's go through some of the winners. We had I know a lot of people don't know these guys, but we had Issei, Mazeo, and Shepis in GTE. Those GTEs are fast too, by the way. And
Yeah, they're ridiculously fast.
and then we had in the Nitro one, we had Barretta, Valente, and Arnaldi. Arnaldi, I'm familiar with his name. Let's bring up their pictures. No, did Gruber race? Where did he finish?
Gruber did race, but he had a really tough run for some reason. I don't know why. He won the Worlds, moved to Capricorn, and since that I had a really rough time. He ended up finishing 7th, but he had a DNF. I'm not entirely sure where he was sitting when he was still running. To my understanding, he was not leading.
Oh,
But
it's Leonardo Valente. Okay,
yeah,
I didn't realize that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I was surprised about, because Valente is known as pure off-road racer. Never really see him run a touring car or any like
I haven't seen him run any
any.
off-road for a long time, to be honest.
He's been running in Italy for sure.
Not like, come on, Valente wasn't at the Italian race. He would have been in the final because he usually is. Maybe it's
Yeah, but
restarting
I
his
think this
career in
was
GT.
yeah, but I think this was during the same time, wasn't it?
This was 2 weekends ago.
I could be wrong. Either way, it was not as exciting as last year. I feel like the hype was much bigger last year. Maybe it was that it was in Germany, so because most of these guys that are like the top guys, and especially, I mean, wasn't the top 3 like all running Genius cars?
Let me double check.
I'm pretty
Pretty sure
all of the top pretty sure all the top 3 in Nitro was running the Genius car, and that's like an Italian brand run by Italian people and really big in Italy.
The winner was X-Ray.
So
Beretta, yeah, when it was actually.
no, that was in the electric.
Was it?
The electric
Or-
is a one with an X-ray, and then
Oh, okay.
it was
I forgot who ran who.
yeah, and it was Maceo and Shepis. I'm not sure what car Maceo runs. He could be running X-ray as well. Used to run X-ray, but I don't know what he does these days. And then what does Shepis run?
No
don't
idea,
know.
but we spent
No
enough
idea.
time on
But
GT because I want to talk about the Euros.
well, I want to finish off with the GT because I think there was like a
10
lot of
minutes
hype
later.
around this class. There was a lot of hype around this class. There was a lot of hype around this class like 2 years ago, with a lot of brands coming out with new cars. And then Serpent used to be like a very big brand in this, but I think a lot of new, more novel car brands have taken over. I think all this needs is like a little push of pros, like some brand to like start making money off of GTs, and I think that's all it really takes.
That's a
Because-
very big mountain to make.
It is, but I feel like this class has like more potential than Truggy in a sense, like as a racing class, and I feel like brands spend more money on a Truggy, like developing a
Well,
Truggy than they do a GT.
the reason why they do that is because more people buy Truggy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true.
That's
I don't know if
absolutely
that's
true.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely true.
In America, maybe, but all
Well, that's
across
all
the
you
world,
need.
Max,
Yes.
I have seen. Okay, there were more Truggies at the last 5 races that I went to that had national level amounts of people than there were e-buggies and nitro buggies.
Yeah, but that's
Also,
e-truck. You can basically just put a like
yes,
Arma
but that's
crate
the thing.
together and people will buy it.
Yes, but that counts as a Truggy, doesn't it?
No, but I'm saying like people put more like development time to a Truggy than they do a GT car.
Because
Like
more people
imagine
buy Truggies.
Associated released a GT car. Like, some people would
They
like
wouldn't
buy
make.
it.
There's
They
no
released a
point.
touring car.
There's no. Well, that's the thing. Touring car is already a niche market. 8th scale GT is even more of a niche market. It is.
I think
Enough
I
about
think
GT.
I think people underestimate how many GTs there are when you look across the world. Because South America is GT only.
Yeah, but I think
Like
you underestimate how many people actually race this. And it's
You mean
okay and
over
on road, and it's still very small, but it's nothing compared to. There were 120 e-truggies at PMB, right? I don't even think there's 120 people racing GT in North and South America combined.
Also, Max, keep in mind it's all a money game. So if people aren't going to buy an 8th scale GT for like $800, they're not going to buy that.
Well, yeah, that is true. I think when you get too expensive, then it's not.
Max, you know
But
what? You
I
need to get a
still
GT and
Like
race.
I know how much you want GT to be a thing, but it's just okay. How about this? We look at the YouTube analytics to see how many people watch when we're talking about 8th scale GT compared to what we're about to talk about with the Euros.
No, but I'm comparing Truggy to GT.
And you're
Buggy is like
wrong.
obviously number one.
You know what? This
There's
is gonna make
no other class that is
This is
as
gonna
good
make a
as.
great triggering reel. This is gonna make a great triggering reel. That's all I know. That's all I know. Enough about GT. We want to talk about Euros. All right. Shut up about GT, Max. Shush. Silence. Let's talk. Let's hear from JQ.
Stop scrolling, you wanna be Lewis Hamilton. Learn something new with invisible speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No, you probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Stop talking about GT.
Every single
Jeez,
time
You
I
know
watch that,
the reason I want GT to take off is so
Oh my
that
God.
10 scale Nitro on road would finally die. That class is, I hate it.
Oh, if there's
I
one class that
absolutely
have
hate
less
it.
people
I
than
love
GT, it's that class.
It's that class, yeah.
It's definitely not
Exactly.
Truggy.
Yeah.
Definitely not Truggy. All right. So let's get into what we all excited about, what we all want to talk about. And it is the 2025 EFRA European IC Off-Road Championships, or Nitro Buggy Off-Road Championships, being held in Barcelos at the Buggy Arena, a place I've had the privilege of going to twice. I was actually told I was going to come to the Euros, but I guess it didn't work out. But I am going. Max and I are planning to go to the Worlds, and we're going to be looking for companies to sponsor that here very shortly. As soon as Max writes up the document that I need to get done to go to get sponsor money, so we can go to the Worlds, and hopefully there'll be some Americans at this track. But let's talk about it, because I absolutely love what Miguel and the crew have done here. They worked very hard, and they have basically, it's still the same footprint to an extent, but they've made some changes using existing, like all this part of the track coming onto the straightaway is the same. This part right here is the same. And I think even these jumps are the same, but they have done a really good job of switching up this track. This is the first big track change they've had in years. and it is absolutely stunning. I'm surprised we didn't get more of the "it's on road with jumps" comments. Pictures don't do this track any justice. Actually, when you're up on this top left-hand corner, you are level with the driver's stand, which is absolutely huge. It's a beautiful facility. They have press boxes. They have, if you want to see a facility tour, I posted up a video of it as well. They have, from when I was there in 2023, that if you walk along the hallway, they have all the European Championships winners, all the World Championship winners all posted up on the wall. It's very nice. They have a cafeteria area. It is a world-class facility. It's in a very beautiful town called Barcelos. It's in Portugal. It's fairly cheap there. And you know what? They have £1. Sorry, £1. We're not in England. €1 super box there as well. Right there in the cafeteria. So a little super box about this big, which is my favorite Portuguese beer. And they have great coffee, great pastries. Why is Roach showing up again here?
No, I put up some what's it called? Some footage of the track going around. Or Carlos Canas going around on the J Concepts page.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, I wanna take a deep dive of the track.
Go into the track, Max. Go into the track. Go into the track.
So basically, as Kina said, first big remodel. First time the straight doesn't end in like a 90-degree corner. I think that is a big development. Wouldn't you agree? No?
What I think they've done is they've slowed the track down quite a lot, because you used to come off that 90-degree, and then when I was there in 2023, that's where an e-buggy, like Ongaro was sending it. It was like jumping right up to this very far right-hand corner almost, trying to get past Canas. So I like it. They've effectively slowed the track down a bit and made it a little bit more technical. It was very fast. And it's also, for people that are asking, this track is completely sealed with a glue water mixture, completely. Even the red part, the infield, that doesn't wear away. None of that wears away. It stays red the entire time. If it gets a little hole or a divot in the track, it gets dusty, they patch it up. And this track here is at its best. Right now, as they're practicing now, it's so edgy. It's so hard to drive on because it's so much grip. And guys actually gluing sidewalls and all that type of stuff for their cars, for their tires. That when this track gets the line in it, it gets a black line from the fuel and the tires, probably in another day or so. That's when it's its best to drive. It actually loses grip, it gets greasy, and it gets much more manageable to drive. But right now, super edgy, like smallest input you can think of in your car. It's really hard to go fast. Reliability, like it's edgy as fuck. But that wears down. Well, how do I know? Because I've raced on glue tracks before, and I've been here, so I've seen how it works.
It's tracks like this that make just.
What was? You broke up.
What'd you say? Oh crap! Tracks like this that make me very jealous. Let's say that.
It's a beautiful track. I like it.
It's
okay, it's smooth and it's high bite, but dude,
it's not just
so
the
nice.
track; it's also just the facility in general.
Yeah, exactly.
We got by the first corner, guys. We need to pace this up. Okay. Keenan went on a tangent about his glue tracks after I reached the first corner. But basically, like Keenan said, they definitely slowed it down, and not like speed wise, because there's going to be fast paced sections, but it's much less busy than before. So as I said, after the straightaway, you have this sort of a elongated 180. It's like a 290s combined with a little bit of a hip jump and a double around 180, which is quite rare for this track. They usually have very tight 180s, corner tabletop, double at the back, and then another corner tabletop after that. This sort of section is very different from before, because what they used to have is like a really long sections that you would keep your power on and go through the jumps. Kind of like, people know Boggyland at the back. You just go over the jumps and jump and it goes on. That's kind of what you had here at the Buggy Arena. But now it's much more slow paced. And if you look at this back double, for example, it throws you up instead of forward, which is usually the case around these tracks. Moving forward the track, again, step up, a really like slow 180, but again, not like incredibly tight. And then after that, a jump combination section. Now I'm not exactly sure if people are tripling this in, like triple and single out or double double. I don't even know if you could do that.
If you could, it'd
But
be a
if you
cool
can't do
package.
that, it would, yes. And I think if you ran e-buggy, you would definitely do a triple here. But if you're doing double double, again, it's a rhythm section, but it's like really slowed down. You go up and then you go forwards after that, instead of having this like full speed, like really maximum speed jumps going forwards. Then again, into a little bit of a banked 180. Again, as you see, it's not like a straight 180, more of a round one where you have to carry speed. And then you go uphill into one of the biggest banked sweepers I've probably seen in a while, where you just go uphill, going to the bank and come down. Um, and then you have an off camber into a step up. So the reason why I'm going through this track like so specifically is in the past, this track has been like I said, fast paced and like all the time something's happening. You have a left, you have a right, there's like a 180, like a chicane combination. And then you have a corner tabletop jump turn, corner tabletop jump turn. But here there are actually moments where you, as a driver, kind of get to relax. So it's not so much as having a rhythm and going around and like what you call it, like
In
kind of
the
like
zone.
running a pan car. Yeah, you don't have to be like particularly in the zone to be fast on this track. You can actually have a little bit of time to pick your line. So I think this is a, although it looks just like any other, like at a first glance, it looks like any other track here or track layout here in this venue. I think it's a very, very different from all of the ones we've seen previously. Um, yeah, and after that step up in the back, you go down into, this is sort of what we usually see, like a little bit of a roller that throws you up a little bit, and then a corner tabletop that goes down, jump with a 180 straight after the jump. Like you can see here, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the track being busy. Is you go down a corner tabletop, you jump a double, you have a 180. Like it's not even the landing, and you have a 180 already. Stairs down, 180, jump up, go a little bit of the right, 180, and then you go down the straightaway. Like this end of the track is usually what the whole track was about. But like the beginning part of the track is really, looks to be really flowing, really like you can take your time, you can pick your line, you carry your corner speed. You don't have to be like in the zone particularly to be faster on this track. But
Well,
you have to be
also,
smart about your lines. And I think
you do have to be
that's
smart
what's
about your
more
lines.
important.
And another thing I was looking at, remember that triple we were talking about before, or the rhythm section, the double double?
Yeah, yeah.
I just watched the video that Canas has just put out. Canas is already tripling it in Nitro Buggy.
Okay, so let's put that video up because now we can see how people are. Because event started today. I don't know if we can go full screen with that. Does it really
I
help
cannot,
anything?
unfortunately.
Yeah. But basically, we have Canas here going on the track, and it's really choppy right now for me, so it's hard to commentate. But yeah, they're going triple already, triple single. And I think that's exactly, that sweeper looks really fun. And yeah, exactly kind of how I described it. It's the end of the lap is very fast paced or like busy because all of the lap is fast. Like you're going around the track really fast in a really fast speed. But it's a difference between like for a driver, like is it fast paced? Do you have to be aggressive and move around the car? Or can you like really like pick your line and have a fast acceleration on the corner and so on? So yeah, beginning of the lap more smooth and flowing, and at the end of the lap really, as I said, busy, and you have to be really on it all the time.
Thank you, Lefty. Appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot better now with
Yeah.
with What Lefty is playing. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, like the jumps really throw you up instead of like
It's like American
forward
style.
at the back.
It's like because they didn't have jumps that threw you up last time. They were all very fast.
They
They're
didn't.
all very fast, throw you forward rather than
Mhm.
throw you up type track jumps.
Yeah.
I like it.
I actually love that. I hadn't watched this video before, but I think I still described it pretty well. just by looking at the track. But yeah, you can see here, like it's flowing. He goes around these doubles, but he has time to like collect himself after these landings. And then at the end of the lap is just like really, really busy. And this is an interesting line. You can actually double that apparently, or triple that. Yeah. Again, one thing I do have to say, it's going to be impossible to overtake. But this is what happens. Like, remember last year at the Euros, I was saying the same thing about that track in South Chile. Here, it's
It'll
the
be
same
hard to
issue pretty
overtake.
much. It's gonna be. I'd say it. I wouldn't say like it's hard to overtake. I would go as far to say it's impossible to overtake, unless the car in front makes like a mistake, like a clear mistake. It's going to be impossible to overtake on this track. So yeah, that is a bummer for sure. But it is what it is.
I like it. I can't wait for the racing to start. It looks like a beautiful weekend there in Barcelos, and I can't wait till we go there for the Worlds at the end of August. It's going to be good. Going to be good. All right. So let us know what you think about the track. I know a lot of people like it, and
I think a lot of people liked it until you said it was a glued surface, and then yeah,
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. But that's what they do. And when it rains, it just like you can just brush the water off it. Like
Yep.
seriously, just brush the water off it, and then you could go racing, and then it's good. It's good. All right. So we went through the track. I don't know, man. Right now, we're looking at practice. Ronafog's doing what I always wish he wouldn't do. He always posts that he does good in practice, and then it like always seems to go downhill from there. It's something me and Mike Hill talk about all the time. Like, stop posting that you win practice or you're doing good in practice. Just wait to qualifying. Should be good, man. I'm looking forward to it. I think, yeah, let's go through some of the things here. Some of the predictions that we were talking about. Obviously, the two names on the tip of our tongue is Ongaro and Canas, but we cannot forget that in 2022, Ronafog actually won this. Kilic was faster. Canas was TQ, but cut his foot at the pool.
No,
and
no.
couldn't.
Burak.
Yes.
Burak was TQ.
Oh, Burak was TQ? You sure? Or was it a TQ battle
Yeah, I'm
between
pretty
them?
sure.
No.
You sure Burak was TQ?
No. I'm pretty sure Canas TQ'd. Because he was
take a
on
look.
fire the entire weekend. And
Okay.
then when he cut his foot that night, he cut his foot the night before, probably celebrating that he TQ'd.
No.
As-
I swear, I
Okay.
was commentating on this. Virtually.
I'll let Max do it because my connection's ass.
Yeah, go ahead. Anyway, also we have Coelho.
Oh, he was. Canas was TQ.
I told you.
Well, looks like you're-
Burak was fast here.
Yeah, he came third.
he just wasn't
Did you
TQ.
qualify?
I think he came third overall.
No. He didn't make the main. He had an issue in the semi. That's why I
Right, 'cause
thought
they
it was
didn't have-
TQ. Because remember, he did well in qualifying. So maybe he TQ'd like a round or something.
But they didn't
But he
have
did well in
LCQ?
qualifying, and they did, but I don't think he made it through because he was so far
Mm.
behind. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Well, the last
Coelho
time that I was here, Canas and Ongaro had when I went in 2023, they had a vicious battle. It was great. But we also got to factor in Joao Figueiredo, who's the owner of this track, he knows this surface like the back of his hand. And he was very fast at that race as well, but he made one mistake and they got by. And of course, we have Coelho with the new Infinity car, and this is the type of track that Coelho likes, right? High grip, smooth.
it is, but when it was the IBC race this year, he didn't do well. He really, really struggled.
This is true.
So
You think they're
that
figuring some
was
stuff out with the
very
Infinity?
interesting. I think it's I think they can figure it out. And the thing about Coelho is he can pretty much drive anything that's in the window. But I think the car has a very aggressive front end. It has a very linear suspension in the front, um, with still a semi-low motion ratio. Um, I think that's going to be really tough to handle on a track like this. And they don't have like what Associated has is they have that really wide front pivot which supports the car in the front. Because when you look at Berton on tracks like Montpellier, where everybody's car pushes, Berton was on fire. Sure, Ogo was really good that year, but still, his car looked good and he did really well. But when you go to high grip like this, the front end has to be. It cannot kill the speed. You cannot have the front end like dive down. And I think that's what happens when you have a very high um motion rate, very high like very low linearity, but still like high motion ratio. Is the front end is gonna like move up and down a lot, which probably helped Coelho in the e-buggy Euros when it was really slippery. But then it's gonna hurt him here, I think, because it's really really high grip, and there's a lot of like up and down. So you want the car to really stay in the right height, which is gonna again help drivers like Ongaro. Canas, for some reason he can manage it, but he's Canas. He can manage anything.
I think it's also gonna be interesting to see because Hot Race has really been good here all the time. And a lot of guys, I think Ronafog won on Hot Race in 2022. Canas was running Hot Race in 2023 when he wanted her. And now obviously he's on JC. So the first time we're seeing a guy running JC, J Concepts at this track. I know, like I said, Jason and the whole J Concepts crew are over there. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how it all goes. I think Roach, I want to get your opinion of this track as an American you guys do not have this type of surface there in the USA. I mean, some of the 10 scale tracks are glued, but it's so hard to do
Lots
this.
of 10 scale tracks are glued, but for me, I'm sort of a little bit odd because I really enjoy high grip tracks like this. But I know that a lot of Americans aren't going to like it a lot at all, especially after you just said it was glued.
I think they don't enjoy it because they've probably never run on it, right?
And yeah, a lot of people just haven't run on it.
If you run on it, I think the biggest issue with the glue tracks is that it makes changing because this is why I find that it's never going to take off in America. Because yes, it's good, and people don't realize that when it rains, you can kind of just brush this off, and you can race in like an hour, right? But what happens is to change a track and apply the glue, the amount of glue that they need to apply to this, it's really a lot of work, right? Like they have probably that much glue, 10 centimeters of glue permeated underground and on top, like, you know what I mean? Because this track's been glued forever. So that is the issue. That's why a lot of people say, oh, we want to do the oil tracks or we want to do this. But what they don't realize is that the cost of changing those tracks when they have these sealed type of surfaces
is a lot of money. And considering how often Americans like to change the track, it becomes not really it becomes a non-factor. It becomes I don't want to do this because it's going to cost way too much money for not too much benefit.
Exactly. And that is why we probably won't ever see this type of surface at a USA race. I'm sure there have been. I know over the years there have been glued tracks. This isn't a new thing. We had one down here in the DR. That's why I can talk about it. I've been on it. I've been to this track as well. It for convenience. And dude, let me tell you, even when it's raining, your car still comes off clean. Like I watch these cars run in the wet, and yes, they get dirty, but not caked in mud. Obviously, it gets to a point where it's raining too much, it can get caked in mud. But like a drizzle, like all that type of stuff, it's good. Like at last year when it got rained out countless times, they actually were able to run on the track after the rain stopped. So
yeah,
but I don't ever foresee this becoming a popular option in the USA. Just
unless permanent tracks become more popular as well.
Well, it's people like track changes too much.
I know, that's why it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think oil tracks are kind of the best alternative. It has its downsides. For example, if it rains even a little bit, it's like basically if it rains like a light like sprinkle, barely, so that basically it dries as soon as it touches your like hand or something. That's enough to make your car spin around when it's an oil track, you know? So it's gonna be like, even if it rains a tiny amount, you're gonna have to like stop the run because the lap times are gonna be like 20 seconds slower. Like it's
Not if you're in
hard
the
to go
main,
around the track.
but if you're qualifying, though, not in the
Yeah,
main.
and if you're in a qualifying, it's like it's silly. It's like when you brake, your car just goes forward. It's insane. Like it's
So
hard to like put into words how bad the grip is. But after the track dries for like 5 minutes, it's good to go again. The grip is fine again. And in that way, oil is that's like its biggest bad thing. For the environment, glue and oil probably just as bad. Um, but the good thing about oil is it's
Do
much
you
cheaper.
really think people are going to care about the environment, Max?
No, but I want people to know the facts. So like
you forget you're
people
talking to
ask,
the environmental activists
yeah.
here, right?
I
No,
know.
but I mean, if you live near a river and you dump a bunch of glue and oil to the track, and people like drink from that water, uh, even if you didn't know how wastewater systems work, you drink from your lake pretty much. Um, yeah. So what was my point? Yes, the oil, it's more affordable way. Uh, Vegetable oil specifically. It's much more affordable. I don't think in America you recycle oil. So basically, you could go to a local McDonald's and get some oil from there. In Europe, the big thing is that they make diesel out of that
No,
oil.
they do in America too.
Uh,
They make biodiesel. They do it
yeah,
here.
but
They do it
I
here
think
as
they,
well.
but they don't do it as much because in Finland it's basically that there's nowhere you can get the oil anymore because they do
Mm.
so much of it.
I wanted to touch on some characteristics of the two tracks before because I've talked to Zach Ryan about it because they're the ones who've been the big proponent of the oil track compared to the glue track. So if you look at old Philippine Masters, which was like a sugar molasses track, and now they're using oil. So talking to Zach, he's like, dude, the oil consistency, obviously when it rains, it's not track stays the same from if it's dry, stays the same, doesn't get, doesn't fall from consistency, doesn't get dusty, and is like tires last forever on the oil track. But
They do,
we,
yeah.
I said it comes to the point of it's very difficult to chip that shit up, like because it's like hard, and
But the
then
oil is easier. The oil is much easier. That's the
it's
thing.
still a
That the
it's still a pain in
glue
the
is
ass.
hard.
It's
It's
still
still
a
a
pain in
pain
the
in the
ass.
ass,
It's
but
still a
the
pain, and it's
oil.
still, and with how often,
Mhm.
going back to what we said before, with how often we change track layouts, it's not really worth it.
I agree.
No, but the thing with the oil is that you don't have to like you, even if the track is like because basically the oil works as the moisture. Like it works kind of like moisture in the dirt. So if you have like a thing to break the surface when it's an oil track, you can make that happen. But with a glue track, that thing is like fucking rock hard. You're not gonna like break it just like that. So I think it's easier with oil.
Oil
You still
is
need
And
a
then if it
you still need a jackhammer like a to pick it up. I know. I know. It's hard, dude.
with the glue or with the oil.
With the oil too, because it's you gotta understand that the oil permeates the surface to an extent, right? And then
Yeah.
you gotta get through that. You gotta pick it like with a. I don't think a regular bobcat can just go and dig it up. I would have to ask Zach because he's built the tracks a few times
Yeah.
at
But
Pine Hills
if
down there
it's
in
dry,
Australia.
yeah. If it's really dry, I can see that being the case. But
I
the
think
thing
that
is
even
with
when it's wet,
the
dude, think
oil.
about it when it's wet, it's gonna be even more solid. Maybe you know what?
No, it breaks up when it's wet.
Okay. If you run
The
on an
oil
oil
washes
track,
away.
if you run on an oil track, let us know how hard it is to change that stuff. Anyway, I don't want to beat the. We've been going on for 90 minutes. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I want to get into the nitty gritty here. Let's make our fucking picks.
Okay. We talked about Fend, Ongaro and Canas as the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the favorites. I think Coelho will suffer a bit, but he will be there. I think
Ronafal?
the third driver who's going to be in the fight is going to be a bit of a dark horse. Coming in. It's not going to be like a nobody, but it'll be like oh wow, that guy's doing good type of thing. Ronafok is likely because he's done well here before, but I don't actually think it's going to be him necessarily in the mains, because this is what he does. He's really good in practice, and then he slowly fades away. I think Burak is going to be the one who's going to be there in qualifiers, but that man doesn't seem to be able to finish a goddamn race. You know,
He kills his
be
cars.
it
He
be,
drives
be
them
it
like he
his
hates them.
yeah, be it his car braking, be it his servos braking, or that he's Nova flames out. Whichever one it is, something seems to always happen to this guy. The good thing now when we're doing this preview is that we have actually the results from the first day. So they run 5 rounds of free practice. You have Ongaro at top, Ronafok in second, Canas in third, with Burak Kilic in fourth and Figueiredo in fifth. Ongaro is well ahead of the field. So Ongaro is a second ahead of Canas in the best 3 laps, and Canas is a second ahead of Burak, who is in fourth. So there's a big gap behind the top 3, which Ronafok is still part of. I think Burak will break into the top 3, because the thing with Sismic is, as soon as there's enough rubber on the track, Sismic is good. You know, I think the same applies to J Concepts. J Concepts is better when there's rubber on the track. I think Matrix is kind of I don't really know type of case. It seems like if Ongaro is doing good, Matrix looks good, but you don't really know ever. Hot Race, I think, is the best all around tire for glue trucks, which kind of shows, because there's like Barufalo 6th, Figueiredo 5th, and Ronafok 2nd. And then there's like Oscar Navarro and Marcus Kaerup, all these guys in top 10, which are all running Hot Race. So I think it kind of shows. But I think it will switch a bit when we're moving to qualifying into the Kilic brothers side. To be honest, I think Ongaro is going to win his first European Championship this week. I think he'll do well from start to finish. Canas will put up a fight. Ronafok will take like a round, and I think Ronafok in the end is, even though I said that he's not going to do well, I think he's going to be end up finishing third in the end. I think Canas will be second and Ongaro will win. That's going to be my pick. But yeah, do your picks, and then I have a few names I want to
Go
talk
ahead,
about.
Roach.
We can recap the first practice day as well.
See, I'm not gonna go with Canas or Ongaro because that's just too easy. So for my dark horse, I'd say probably either Bertone or Barufalo would be sort of a breakout.
All right. Are they running the MP11, by the way?
I'm pretty sure they're either running the MP11 or with the KPI things already on there. I'm not sure if
Did
they're running the
Lutz
MP11.
run that at the Nationals and FEE?
I think they did. I'd have to ask.
Do we have
I have
any
no idea.
pictures? Oh, yeah.
Let me make my pick.
Who's your pick?
Yeah.
Orlowski, Ongaro, Canas.
Orlowski
Wow.
is
Okay,
is your
you
guy.
just went all out.
I wanted to pick Ongaro. I truly think Ongaro is going to win this. I truly think that it's going to be Ongaro, Canas, Ronafok. But I think
That's
there's
too
one
easy.
person. Exactly. If there's one person I think that can throw a monkey wrench in the spokes of the wheels of Ongaro's quest to get a European Championship, it's Orlowski.
Wow. Okay,
I completely forgot.
I
he
love
was
that
in
you guys made your picks. Yeah, I love that you guys made
Matt's
your
going to show
picks.
me
I
how
don't
wrong
think
I am.
either. Yeah, I don't think either of you looked at the results from first day of practice.
Do I have a look at
So-
results? I go off just pure emotions and feelings.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I said some names from the top 10. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Spanish drivers and 1 Portuguese driver in the top 10. So the quote unquote locals are doing really well so far, which is not a surprise. Boots in 12th, and
Right.
not all of these names like in the top 20 are kind of like young, more of a 10 scale type of guy. But then when we move on to 24th, Ricardo Berton, 26, Berkan Kilic, 27, Bruno Coelho, 28, Robert Battier, 30th, Renault Savoia, 33rd, Johnny Skidmore, and Keenan's pick to win the title, 41, Orlowski Michal.
It's just
So
practice.
it's just practice, but I gotta say, some of these guys have had a real tough first day. I haven't chatted with Pekko yet. That what is different?
It's
'Cause-
it's
Could
so
you
high
put-
grip. It's so high
Could
grip.
you
That's what his
could
problem is.
you link off to the results real quick for me, real quick, so I can take a look?
They're in the notes, right?
They're in the notes.
It's not in the notes.
Oh no, they're not. They're not in the notes. I'll send you guys a link to take a peek. But it's been a really weird first day because usually it's not this crazy. Because I mean I don't know if you know, but I've been to Euros before a few times myself, and usually it's quite like sometimes there's one guy who's out of place, but there's like from this 20th to 30th, it could be like an A main on itself, another round of semis, and I don't know what it is, but what's going on with Berkan Kilic? He's not been there this year at all. Can you guys explain to me?
I don't know what's going on with Bark. He's in college, university now, so real life probably.
Yeah, maybe
Like,
he's
when-
getting.
He's not.
Maybe
So
He's getting his
had a girlfriend
women
for a long time.
education.
He's had a girlfriend for a long time. Barkan does not take. I shouldn't say he
Hey.
doesn't take it seriously, but he does not take it as seriously as Burak. Barkan wants to be a game designer when he gets out of school. That's what he really wants to do. I can't say I blame the man. Much more money in
Considering
gaming
how gaming companies are going right now, if you work for Activision or EA, he's kind of boned.
I have no idea what's going on in the gaming world. So
It'd be better if he was an
It's
indie
not
dev.
go-
Once you say that,
Yeah, it's not going very good in the gaming industry. But one name I do want to point out is Kaerup in 10th.
Mm.
Top,
Can I
top
call an audible?
AE
Can I call an
behind
audible?
Orlowski.
Can I call an
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch Orlowski out for Kaerup.
Okay,
that
I mean
you
that's
know
more
that-
likely. That's more likely. To be
No,
honest.
because I truly believe that Kaerup is fucking good, like really, really good. And
Yeah.
for a guy that barely races 8 scale and only started compared to Orlowski, who's raced it before, who barely races it. Not saying that Orlowski isn't good and extremely talented, but Kaerup is young. He ain't got nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose if he doesn't make the final at this race, And I'm calling on audible. Watch me say this and watch Orlowski go out there and win. Watch it. Watch it happen. Marcus Kaerup will be in the top 3.
All
might
right.
win.
All right. I do have to say, Barufalo is looking pretty fast. It's not like crazy fast, but it's looking pretty fast. So I think he could have a few good rounds. He usually like turns up at the Euros a little bit, and sixth.
He needs a good run.
Sixth
needs a good run.
after practice is it's not bad. So
you want to know another reason why I put him in there?
Why, Rochi?
because I think that after he looked at his last results at the Italian race, he looked at the fact that, hey, if I had not flamed out, I would have beaten Ongaro. And now he has a confidence boost.
Could be. He also
Yeah,
had
could be.
back issues at the e-buggy Euros, so that might be resolved. He's a lot of back pain. Who knows? But that's a good point. But no,
Okay,
no,
okay.
I'm just going.
I
I'm
wanna-
just going with guts and feelings.
I
Emotions-
gotta bring this up because I think this is insane. I just realized this. So from Burak in 4th to Joona Haatanen in 18th, over 3 laps, they're split by 1 second.
Wow.
So that's like almost 2
Any
minutes.
one of-
That would be like 2 seconds over 5, 2.5 seconds over 5 minutes between 4th and 18th. That I gotta say that's insane if you look at it like that.
All right. I think we still got a lot of racing to go. We still got semis to
Should be
go and all that
practice.
type of stuff. But we're just geeking out right now. You know what? I think we're gonna kind of wrap this up on the Euros, unless you had something to say, Roach, unless you had something to say, Max, because we're going over the time limit that I wanted to go over.
Of course we did, because that's what
We don't
always
have time limits here. It's
No.
a free
There is no
world,
such
We
thing.
can do whatever we want.
We have time limits, you just choose to ignore them. Anyway, in the comments, let us know who you think is going to be your top 3. Remember, everybody has to race in because the TQ does not get an automatic, does not automatically go through. So he has to race in through the semi as well. Let us know what you think about the track. Let us know what you think about glued versus oiled in the comments.
Or just natural, if you like.
Or just natural, yes. And also, I would say too, if some of our American friends are watching this, would you like to see a glued or oiled track in the USA? Let us know in these comments. We're going to move on. We will be doing a full recap. Max is going to some wedding this weekend, so he might be unhungover by the time this is over and we get to do some recaps. Let's go on. We're going to, we're going to talk about a few upcoming races, and then I think we're going to have our closing gestures and get done with this. Brought to you by ML Toys. You know, check out my Power Wheels podcast on YouTube. Help me get to 500 subs, please. I got 150. I need that to grow. If you're a father or a mother who has a kid who has a Power Wheels, they race those things and they modify them as well. I know. I'm doing it right now. So big shout out to ML Toys.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy with plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
Alrighty, so a big shout out to ML Toys for all the support, as well as Dollar Hobbies. You can go to Dollar Hobbies, our new sponsor there. We have a coupon code. They have over 13,000 items in stock on their website. You can go to dollarhobbies with a Z.com and go check them out. Use promo code Lefty to save 10%. Also, we have a promo code for ML Toys. All of that is in the written description of their podcast. Up next, we have the Asian Buggy Championships at Pine Hills Dark, which is going to be at an oil track. Pecco's going to that track, so it'd be good to hear his opinions on that. We have the Wicked Weekend, which I'll be going to at Chicopee Woods Agricultural Center in Gainesville, Georgia. Probably going to be the most stacked Wicked Weekend ever because we heard Canas. I'm sure if Canas is coming, Battier is coming. I know JQ and Pecco are supposed to come. Then we have the EFRA 10 Scale Worlds, July 28th to August 2nd, which will be held at Hudi Arena in Trenčín, Slovakia. And we have the Late Dart Indoor Nationals, or the INS, which I'll be going to at Hobbytown Hobbyplex up at Omaha, Nebraska. Go right up there after Wicked Weekend. Then we have the IFMAR 8-Scale Electric Worlds from August 26th to 30th, which Max and I are planning. I'm going. We're trying to raise enough money so Max can go as well, get his ticket, and also pay for our hotel. And then, of course, we have the EFRA 8-Scale Nitro Offer B Euros. We also should have in August, we have the 10-Scale Carpet Nationals, Raw Nationals, that will be held at Island Raceway. I think it is the second weekend of August. Then we have the 8-Scale Nitro Off-Road B Euros, September 12th to 14th at OSPI team, that the track we saw with the Italian races. The Georgia Peach State Classic from 26th to 28th. Then we have the IFMAR 10-Scale Worlds, which everybody's excited about, which is taking place September 29th to the 9th in Hills Off-Road RC in Sydney, Australia. And then, of course, we have the final of the INS, which I am actually might be going to. So that's good.
For the
That's
world,
good.
specifically for the 10 scale, make sure you stay up because it's probably going to be very contentious. Let's say that.
Absolutely. I'm actually really excited for the 10 scale worlds. I wish I was going, to be honest. I don't think we have nothing else to talk about, fellas. Roach, thank you for your time. It's always good to have you on here. We need to we need to call T-Mobile and get your internet working better.
Tell them to
Max,
finish that. Tell them to finish that tower finish quickly.
absolutely. And Max, thank you for your time as well. Enjoy yourself at the wedding. Don't drink too much, which I
I
know.
won't. I always use
Caution.
illicit substances with caution.
And not what he took a whole bunch of it from you should have seen his suitcase leaving Spain. This man stacked his whole suitcase. He even bought special tubes to carry all the alcohol that he made himself. It's like, it's so much cheaper here in Spain. He took a whole suitcase of alcohol.
Yeah, because I didn't have it. I got the ticket with the bag like I usually get, and then I realized I don't really have anything to carry. So I was like, well, I gotta use it somehow. So
There you go.
So I'm gonna bring. So your first response was, "I'm gonna bring some beer."
No, alcohol,
no,
not beer.
you have
Straight
to
up
bring
or
like
straight- or straight
yeah, 'cause
alcohol.
you have to maximize the alcohol content to weight ratio. You know.
Dude, the guy had special tubes to protect the bottles and all that stuff. He
I
can't
don't even drink, but yeah.
He can't prepare it. Anyway, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the RC news and Euros preview. We will be doing a recap next week, probably with Pecco, because he's there. He's going to be there, so we'll get him in here to talk about it. A big shout out to all the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. Don't forget to hit that sub, like, notification button on this channel. Head on over to this man's channel, Roach.
Hi.
Let's get this man up to 10,000 subs, please. And if you have any video work that you need done, hit him up. He's doing that as well. Voiceover work as well. Don't hit up Max for anything whatsoever. He's only good for triggering people. And
particularly people in the Western Hemisphere.
yeah, the fastest trigger in the West, Max Smart. I want to say a big shout out to the patrons of the NNRC as well as the YouTube members. We have links for that in the written description of this podcast if you wish to support us a little bit more. Also, Roach has a Patreon on his podcast as well. That his channel that helps out us small content creators quite a lot. And a big shout out to all the sponsors of this podcast. We have in the written description, we have links for all of these sponsors. They are J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Dollar Hobbies, Side Piece Racing, Get Shit Done Coffee, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, Atlantic RC. Hey, did you see that Project RC signed Noah? That's another one that could probably make the final.
I do think he'll be very strong. This
think
type
so
of
too.
track is not as good for C-Hub cars, like Sparko, but I think he'll have something in the bag because Adrian was pitting for Ron Falk last time. He went out this Euros at this venue. And they ended up winning. So he's got a good track record here.
He does. And once again, a big shout out to RC Racing TV on their 100,000 subs on YouTube and getting that silver plaque. Congratulations to those guys. I know they worked very hard. And they will be bringing you all the coverage of the Euros starting on Wednesday. I'm probably going to release this on Wednesday too, as we're talking. We're recording on Tuesday. With that said, Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Roach needs to get 10,000 subs, and we need to get 8,000. And Max, who Lord knows who you triggered this weekend, on this podcast, but the triggering never stops when Max Mort is involved. With that said,
I never
Lefty,
trigger people.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
Okay, we can go ahead and hit the button now.
Jesus, Max, we can't take you anywhere, man.